Hey, what's up everybody, Rich Gaming Guy here. Today in this video we are going to unbox and review the Anbernic RG405M handheld video game console. This is actually jam-packed full of a ton of retro video games, so I am dying to actually test this out and see exactly what it has to offer. Let's dive into it. Alright, so here we have the Anbernic RG405M handheld, so we're going to open this up. Comes very nicely packaged, as Anbernic typically does with their products. Padded up very nicely, and they always have these screen protectors that they include. They have a whole kit here that of course enables you to protect your screen, make sure that it's not prone to, being smashed or anything like that. It's a very nice plastic piece. It just has a self-adhesive sticky side here. It goes right on there with ease, and we have the manual in there as well. Over here inside this we just have the power supply cable so you can charge up your handheld, and I believe it is a Type-C. We'll open this up just to verify. Yep, Type-C USB connection, very easy to use. So I'm going to put all of that aside and let's take a look at the handheld itself. So additional packaging here. This keeps the screen very well protected. But here is our layout for this particular handheld, and I have to say I love right off the bat the size of the screen here. Everything just seems to fit really nicely in my hands. My fingers line up perfectly with the trigger and shoulder buttons up here. Really nice click to both of those, so everything feels really nice. This is a metallic shell, so this isn't cheap plastic at all. Very high quality. It's got some weight to it, which I do like the way that it sits on here, balances really nicely. A, B, X, and Y 4-button configuration. Analog sticks here feel really responsive. You can see how it just automatically goes right back to center. There's no delay on that at all. I can't wait to actually try this in game. Really impressive there. I've always liked Anbernic's analog sticks, but this feels like it's definitely several tiers higher than what we've seen in the past, so I really like that. D-pad is down here. Really nice D-pad too, seems high quality. Here we have a back or home button, which I like. I like that for when you're in emulation. You can use that as a hotkey as opposed to hitting start and select, and you'll notice that start and select are over here on the side. I like that because there's really no risk of accidentally hitting those by accident or anything like that. They're strategically placed in that way, and I like that. How I would likely set this up as a hotkey function over here rather than over here, because we could hit those accidentally if we're down there hitting start. So I would definitely set that up. I'm not sure if that's going to be default on the card that's included here or not, but everything seems really nicely put together here. So again, you can see L1, L2, R1, and R2 up here. Nice layout, good functionality. Power buttons up top. We have our USB DC connection right here, so that's how we'll charge this. And then again, power buttons there. So down at the bottom, we have our headphone jack, speakers on this ends, and then here is our micro SD card, and it's actually recessed in quite a bit, which is good. You can see I can't even get it. I would have to use like a pen tip. Here I have one of my little pokers for cleaning consoles, but there you can see, just push it in there to disengage it. And what do we have on here? Stock. We have a 256 gigabyte card, so that's pretty good size. And we can actually get it to click into place just with my thumb, but to disengage it, you really need, just a pen tip or something to get in there, which is good. You don't want to accidentally, dislodge that or eject it. So we're going to power this on and see what everything's like on here. So we'll hold the power button for about 3 seconds, and there we go. I'm going to try to readjust so I don't have as much glare. All right, so here we are booted up into the stock 256 gigabyte card, and the colors on here are a little bit dark, so it does make it a little bit hard to see, but we're going to kind of jump through here. So first collection is Nintendo Game Boy, 208 games. Here we have Neo Geo with 144 games, Super Nintendo with 1047 games. We have Sega SS with 6 games. We have Capcom System 2, 29 games. Sony PlayStation, 181 games. Nintendo 64, 17 games. Capcom System 3, 4 games. MAME, 23 games. Game Boy Color, 174 games. Dreamcast, 85 games. That's pretty significant for Dreamcast. And we have Neo Geo Pocket Color, 37 games. Wonder Swan, 66 games. PS2, 11 games. Impressive that there's PS2 on here. I can't wait to actually try that out. We have FBM with 77 games. We have Game Boy Advance, 397 games. And we have PSP, 50 games. Nintendo DS, 23 games. Nintendo Wii, 5 games. 3DS, 6 games. Also got NES here with 691 games. We've got Sega Master System with 197 games. We have PC Engine with 59 games. Capcom System 1 with 64 games. Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, 636 games. And we are back to Game Boy where we started. So you can see lots of collections in here, but we're seeing collections that are light years above what we've seen in the past. So I don't want to spend any time on collections that I know are going to work effortlessly. So we'll avoid PS1. Let's check out N64 and we'll work our way up from there, because N64 in the past with Anbernic products has been very hit or miss. Some titles work great, other titles don't work at all. So we've got 17 games to choose from here. Let's see how the layout is within. So as you scroll down, you're going to get some box art for each one. Colors are a little bit dark here, so I do apologize, but in person it looks very good. So we've got Star Fox 64, Zelda on here. We've got Conker's Bad Fur Day, Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye 007, Killer Instinct Gold. A lot of great stuff. Perfect Darks in here. Wave Race. Only recently got into Wave Race, and that's a pretty cool game. Alright, so to exit, you're going to hit Start and this back button here, which is what I was suggesting early on as the best way to do this, and that seems to be the default on here as well. So N64 is running beautifully on this handheld, so we are going to back out of this collection, and let's kick it up a few notches. Let's jump into Dreamcast. Let's see what we have in here for titles. Got to go into my favorite game of all time, Gauntlet Legends. Alright, so Gauntlet Legends performed perfectly on here as well. So we're going to go back into Dreamcast and let's try to find something else on here, but that was really impressive. Alright, so time for a little Soul Calibur. And over here, since we are using the Redream emulator, when you hit your hotkey, you come to this screen here, and you just have to go over to the top to exit. And that's going to be the case only in the Dreamcast collection here, but really a great gameplay experience there. The best I've seen, in fact, so far from Anbernic, across the board for that particular collection, which is Dreamcast. So let's go into PS2 here. This is really actually surprising to see on a handheld from Anbernic. So I'm going to jump into God of War 2. I really don't have high hopes for this, in all honesty. I just think that PS2 is going to be a little bit too much for this to handle, but I could be totally wrong, so let's find out. Alright, so God of War 2 here for PS2 is a little bit, I don't want to say glitchy. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit glitchy. I do believe we can go in here and better the performance slightly from the settings, but all in all, I would say that PS2 is going to have some little glitches. It's not going to be perfect. So I bet if we go into something like Metal Slug Complete, this is likely going to be a much smoother performance for us. Let's check it out and find out. Alright, so Metal Slug Complete, as expected, was perfect. Now that is obviously just a PS2 version of a much older game. Kicked up a few notches, but still not the, in all honesty, the best test, but good to see that it does actually function. Now, Nintendo Wii is definitely an interesting one to see on here. So we've got some Zelda games, we've got Ridge Racer, okay, that's a good one too. So we've got some good stuff here. I'm not sure how these are going to pan out. Let's go into Ridge Racer. I think that would be good on a handheld. Alright guys, I have to say, the Anbernic RG405M is my new favorite handheld from Anbernic, and I know I've said that in the past. That's because every product that Anbernic puts out, they try to make little improvements, and oftentimes it does take a lot of different versions and different models to come out before major advancements, become, readily visible on here. But this definitely shows us a lot of improvement. We're able to get into PS2 on here. We're able to get into Nintendo Wii, and that's just a couple collections that are, far beyond the capabilities that we've seen in the past. And the performance in both these collections is quite good. Now, everything that I showed you is stock, so I didn't go in and adjust settings. I hate when people do videos and they go in and tweak settings right off the bat, and they advertise things as being, a certain way, and that's not the case turnkey. Everything that I showed you guys was the default settings on here. So we saw God of War 2. It wasn't perfect. It had some little issues, especially in the timing of the game. That can be adjusted in settings. I didn't show you guys how it looks when adjusted because, again, I want to show you guys exactly how it comes stock and the way everything performs right out of the gate when you fire this up. Same thing with Nintendo Wii. We jumped into Ridge Racer. I would say it performed almost perfect. Yeah, there were a couple little things that I saw here and there, but they were super minor. Again, settings adjustments will improve that. So the fact that we can get into these games, they boot up, and we can actually enjoy them, even if they aren't 100% perfect, that's a home run here because we haven't had that happen on something of this caliber. We've seen that on the Steam Deck. Steam Deck is several tiers above this in terms of price point. So the fact that this is an affordable price point and has that level of performance, I think, is absolutely amazing. Now, N64 and Dreamcast are collections that in the past from Anbernic's products have been hit or miss. Some titles work great, other titles don't work at all. Here I tested out a ton of games for both collections. I didn't show everything here in this video in an effort to keep this short and sweet, but everything that I jumped into, 100% perfect. No sound cutouts, no tracking issues on screen, no screen tearing, nothing at all. Everything was just smooth sailing on those collections. That is, again, very impressive on a handheld like this. So to talk about the controls, everything is high quality here. I love the fact that this is not a plastic handheld. This is a metallic shell here. All the buttons have great response. They function perfectly. There's no binds, there's no sticky buttons. Everything in terms of the shoulder and trigger buttons lines up perfectly. I love that there's no sweet spot on here. What I mean by that is for your shoulder buttons on the outside, oftentimes you'll find that there's a sweet spot. There's a spot where it functions best if you hit it there. Over here, you can hit it over here versus right up on top, and it performs the same way. So people with different size hands, which is everybody, it doesn't matter where you hit the button. It's going to perform the same way, whether you hit it on the edge, right up on the top, or in the middle, performs the same exact way. So that's a good thing. Analog sticks here, these are the best that I've seen on any of Anbernic's products, and I've always liked Anbernic's analog sticks in the past. Just really responsive. They automatically just go back to that neutral position as soon as you let go of them. There's no, slow movement, no lagging with them. They're just really on point, really easy to use. You can maneuver very well in like racing games. Love that. Love the D-pad on here. It's a good size D-pad. It's not one of those small ones. I hate the small compact ones. They're just hard to navigate with. You can hit the diagonal movement on here very nicely. Start and select, I love the layout of that as well, and I like that we have the home button over here. And I talked about this when I first unboxed this, and I was delighted to see that they actually mapped it the way I would, where your home button and your start together activates the hotkey function. So there's no risk of hitting start and select together when you're playing a game and coming back out to your main menu or starting to exit your emulator. There's no risk of that because you'd have to hit both of these on each side in order to activate your hotkey function. Sound quality is great on here. Picture quality is great. Now it is a 4-inch IPS 640 by 480 resolution. Had to double check on the resolution there, but that is the resolution. Now I will say in the video, for some reason, I think it's my lighting combined with the gloss actually on the screen here itself, it's very hard to actually show you guys how clear the picture is on here. So the resolution quality is light years better than what you see on camera here. I just could not get it no matter what I did with my lighting or angles of the camera. Could not get it perfect on here, especially with darker games. I filmed a bunch of gameplay demos on here and I just couldn't use the footage because it looked so dark the way my camera was picking it up. So I just want to mention that. In person, it looks light years better than it does on camera in this video. So really happy with the quality here. I think it's an absolute home run across the board. Really just, I can't find anything wrong with it in all honesty. Love the fact that it can utilize Android. You can do the on-screen touchscreen controls if you're into that. I never have been, never liked the feel of it, but I know a lot of people that do, and they do perform quite well if that is the route you want to take. So just don't have enough nice things to say about this. Really happy with the product, and I would highly recommend it. So the Anbernic RG405M. I'll put a link up here at the top of your screen and in the description. You can click over, get additional information, and all of that. So that is going to do it for today. Let me know what you guys thought of this particular handheld from Anbernic in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the content today, thumbs up on the video. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube. And of course, hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future videos here on the Retro Gaming Guy YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.